Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're going to be taking a look through another box of vintage late 1950s Pelican paperbacks, giving them a good clean and getting them looking as good as possible. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so apologies if I sound a little bit croaky today. I am in the midst of a bit of a summer cold at the moment, so I'm not exactly A1. However, the next cleaning video that we had to do was the next box of Pelican books. Now this one's A387. It's from 1957 here. There we are. So towards the late 1950s. And when I was getting these off the shelves, I thought, well, these really look quite nice copies indeed. We'll only have to wipe off the top edges with the brush, but apart from that, we should be all right. But we'll just take it as it comes. I really haven't been through these book by book, so we'll have a look. I'm pretty sure that was Richard. I'm pretty sure I've got a pretty much unbroken run of these, so I don't think there's any missing. The Music Masters Volume 1, quite a big thick one, that one. And Volume 2. Now what I have got to show you today as well is something a little bit more unusual. I've got quite a nice bit of related memorabilia. I always love coming across that, and well, this one's a particularly juicy one. Music Masters 3. So yeah, huge books these. Going through the ages by the looks of it. And this looks like the last one, the 20th century. Yeah, they're all fine, not a mark on those. Roman readings. Typical of the Pelicans, they can be, some of the titles at least, can be a little bit on the dry side. Oh, a little picture on there, the ancient civilizations of Peru. And I see the bottom of the spine. It's going to need a little bit of glue in there. And this one's got some pictures as well. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just lean it up against there. Just want to put a dab of glue in there. Now, you may remember I've moved over to using this bookbinder's glue by Pinflair, which is pretty good. I've had some good results with it. It's sort of, when it goes hard, or if you get a little bit on your skin, it just sort of goes to rubber. And when it dries clear. So you can see exactly where you're popping it, as in the case there. Now I'll squish it out, and I will get some on my thumb, but it'll be okay because it will just dry clear. And it just, as it just like turns to like rubber. There we are, because it was just like a slightly odd little bit of corner that was poking out, and those little nicks can easily get worse if you leave them or they get caught again. So it's nice grabbing those when we come across them. Social Welfare and the Citizen. That's okay. The 30 Years War. God, this is a huge one. Not in absolute tip-top condition. I'd be tempted, since the other ones are so nice, I am going to pop that on my upgrade list. It's a little bit the worse for wear. A397 as an upgrade then. It would be nice to find a tip-top condition one of that on the 30 Years War. Yeah, he's a little bit the worse for wear. That one. The Pattern of English. I'm reading a Penguin at the moment. I'm reading Penguin #1, which is Ariel by Andre Maurice, which is a look at the life of Shelley. And it's really good. Really, really much better than I thought it was going to be. All right, I'm going to slide that little pile over there. Go on to the next bit here. History of the British Navy. Okay, I bet that's an interesting read. Man and Automation. 401. This is early signs of computers, of course. We're looking at 1957 still. These have been fluctuating between 57 and 58, date-wise. Penguin Guide to English Literature, Blake to Byron. Yeah, that's nice. History of Modern France, Volume 1. Ancient Voyagers in the Pacific. Early Thor Heyerdahl. 57 again still. We haven't had a single price mark inside any of these. It's absolutely incredible. Memory, Facts and Fallacies. Beyond the Gospels. Feels like it's got a little something on the edge here. Yeah, it's a little bit of grit or something. So we've seen it before where something gets like a little bit of dirt or grit gets pushed onto the cover and it gets just like embedded in it quite literally for decades until we come along and sort it out. But you can see very, very dirty top edges here. Right, that's the end of that pile, but let me show you this. So this is, I got this fairly recently. A friend of mine who knows I love bits of Penguin ephemera alerted me to this. So this is a paper bag from Dillon's University Bookshop in London, 1 Mallet Street, and the code was Museum 2128 for penguins, pelicans, and puffins. Now, it's in the puffin colours, isn't it? Plain back. It's in the puffin colours and pelican colours rather. And these are like quite studious versions of it, apart from that little one there. So I suspect, and I've got some period catalogues around 1957, 58, 59. So around this sort of period of books that we're looking at. And I suspect that this is from around that period. And you would have got your pelican and slipped it in there and folded it over. So that's incredibly cool, that is. In fact, you can almost see, if you got the book there, you can almost see there's like a little crease line going there, and then there's one there. And they would have folded it over and turned it over, and that's how it would have been stored. So I reckon before that was popped up on eBay, which is where I got it from, I reckon the seller probably had a book that was still inside it that had probably never been read. It's almost certainly one of the books that we've been looking at today, I suspect anyway, from that period. So I thought you might like a little look at that bit of memorabilia, related memorabilia. Okay then, so this is another one with a photograph cover, and they start in the late 50s. They weren't quite as strict, Penguin that is, about putting on the odd photograph cover on a pelican as they were, say, on Penguin main series books. So we do see the odd one, and of course eventually they all have illustrated covers. It's got a huge photo insert, this one. 1958 again. And look at this. What's this inside? An insertion. Right. Trying to decipher it. Penguins, A417, A412, 3 and 6, 5 shillings. A classic, L81 for 3 and 6. Paid with thanks. Somebody. 14th of April 58. And it was £1.40. Look at that. I guess that included A407, which is this one. So someone ordered this from a bookseller. Look at that. In Southampton. I think that's really nice. That ought to stay with it, don't you think? Very, very nice indeed. That's rather a nice insertion. The Faith of the Bible. Pull these back a little bit. Witchcraft. This is one of those subjects that is quite collectible in the world of books, simply because of what it is. And there are people who pick up books on witchcraft and the occult and things like that. So it's probably quite a tasty one, that. Probably worth a few pounds. Nothing much, you know, none of these Pelicans are big money, but that's one of the ones that will be worth slightly more. The Badger. And now an absolutely enormous one. Look at this, the Age of Elegance. That's very, very large for a Pelican of this period. Once again, a bit like my other big thick one, it's not A1 condition, this. Compared to the other ones, it's just, maybe because of its size, it's just not fared as well over the last 66 years, which is how old all these books are. It's borderline, so I'll put it on the upgrade list, A411. Man, the Peculiar Animal. Let's slide that pile over there. From Dickens to Hardy. I really can't believe how lucky we've been with regards not even having a price sticker to rub out. It's amazing. The Old Testament prophets. It's almost as if these have been cleaned before, but I assure you they haven't. The Prehistory of European Society. And what I did, I brought down an entire comic box with a few on top. Not quite sure how many more Pelican videos we'll have to do. I estimate probably another 4 after this. This is part 7. So, yeah, I reckon another 4. We've still got the science news and new biologies to look at, which sort of go hand in hand with this series. But there's not many of those. They were like monthlies as well. It's a little bit different design there. Recorded Jazz. A Critical Guide. It's like the sticker's tried to come off itself, isn't it, that? Yeah, it's quite nice, isn't it? Very much of its time. Even credits the cover designer Dennis Bailey, which is unusual for a Pelican, but you can see his signature just there. the human situation. See, once again, that's a big thick one, but it's in tip-top shape. That's how I'd like them all, really. If you're going to keep a run of Pelicans, you want them as nice as possible. Now this one has also got that bottom corner there, look at that. So a tiny dab of glue is what's required. A little bubble on the end there from the previous time we used it. Get rid of that bubble. There we are. It squeegees over a bit, but we don't mind because we can just wipe it off. There we are. As I said, that will dry completely clear. And no one will ever know. Unless they watch this video, of course. Lascaux, paintings and engravings. So prehistoric cave paintings. (1959), this one. Of course, even though we're looking at these in numerical order, often a number would be skipped and they come back to it later on, you know, so it's not like we've essentially jumped ahead or anything. This one's obviously published later, look, 1963, but it's still the first printing. But by then, all the Pelicans had these glossy spot varnish covers, which means that this, and along with a couple others, I think, we can actually give a polish to. So what I'm going to do, rather than take these out when we're doing the brush, I'll give them a polish now. So that when we do the brushing, it can just be brushed in the normal way. But I think we've got at least one more glossy one here. But this is correct, it's in the right position. Nice copy, actually. I see this one's also got the tiniest little bit at the bottom there coming away. It just sort of needs a hair going in there of glue, which is exactly what I've got on the end there. There we are. Perfect. That will do nicely, Governor. Okay, Anglicanism. Yep, nice copy of that one. 421. Face of the Sun. Body and Mind in Western Thought. That's another one there. Now that is 2-ply. It's a little bit more complicated because we'd have to glue 2 bits back, one at a time. But we can do it. Do the first bit. I need my get my little micro screwdriver here to pop the first bit down. You see that? So I'm pushing it down. Then I'm going to use a bit of the excess glue to do part two. There we are. I think that's as good as we're going to get that one. Okay, 424 Medieval Fort. That's all right. That's quite a nice one. World Health. Another lovely one. Slide that pile over there. The Earth Beneath Us. 426. Roman literature. Just spotted another top edge this time. That one there. Look at that. Quite a straightforward one, this. There we are. Okay, David Hume. That one's all right. The Gods of the Greeks. Something got caught in there. Historically. Yeah, he's all right. Just needs a good brush, like so many of these pelicans do. It's going to be a mucky old time. I'd be tempted, now that we've had our garden done now, I'd be tempted to just whip these outside to do the brushing part of it. It's certainly bright enough on a hot, sunny Sunday morning. Might be a bit noisy with all the seagulls, which you may be able to hear in the background. Venture to the Arctic. That's a nice one as well, isn't it? Yeah, the only problem with doing this outside, I haven't actually got a table at a decent level to work at, so you wouldn't really see or hear the actual process. So perhaps not today, but it's something I might think about in the future. Oh, look at this, look. This is a great one, The Exploration of Space, by none other than Arthur C. Clarke. There he is. Science fiction writer extraordinaire. Look at that. Someone's put £10 inside that. I guarantee you I never paid that for mine. Or maybe it was £1. I don't know. It does tend to go for about £5, maybe a little less. I mean, it is not rare. And that actually had a price to rub out. I probably had one and I swapped it for this one, which came by in a collection, because that is a pretty pretty fresh copy of that one, so pleased with that. The English novel, don't you know? Children and the Law. How the Bible came to us. A land. And now this is one of the ones that I thought was a later one with a laminated cover, but it looks like it's not. It's just pottery through the ages. Judaism. Yeah, he's all right. Health in Industry. Relativity for the layman. A Shortened History of England. It may be shortened, but look at the size of it. It's huge, isn't it? The Origins of Love and Hate. And the last one, before we get brushing, is this Poets in a Landscape. Nice one, isn't it? 1959. There we are. So that's all the books we're looking at today, and they're all sort of cleaned inside as best we can, and spines repaired and what have you. Next stop then is to give them a brush down to finish them off. Okay then, so I've got my trusty shoe brush, and we'll start giving these the brush down. I think you'll agree we've seen some pretty bad ones today. But even so, I think you've enjoyed, at least I hope you've enjoyed looking through the books. Potentially, my systematic working my way through the collection may well have to be put on hold for a little bit, because we're going to be dealing with a much bigger collection of books that I've got in. So I am, as you watch this, about to purchase a collection of about 2,000 vintage Penguin books from a lifelong collector. And of those, approximately, well, I'm going to want to clean all of them up, of course. And then I reckon of that 2,000, about 800 or so I'm actually going to need myself that I haven't already got in my collection. And I'm going to have a lot of spares and doubles, but I definitely want to be checking every single book against my own copy to see if it's going to be an upgrade. So each book is going to need to be gone through the cleaning process before I start comparing. So because of that, and I'll sort of be approaching it a box at a time predominantly, we'll have to see. But I'm going to film the whole process. So there will be lots and lots of Penguin book videos coming up where I'm cleaning this brand new collection. It's going to be probably full of surprises. There'll be stuff inside there's likely to be all sorts of work to be done on them to get them looking as good as possible. But I'm sure you're not going to mind, because it's been a long time since I've bought a big collection in. Probably about three years since I bought a really sizable, like a carload collection. So I am very much looking forward to that, and I shall share as much of the cleaning process and the sorting process as I can on this channel, so you can see how I work my way through a big collection when it comes my way, which isn't that often. One of the main reasons why is, of course, I can't chase big collections down because I don't have unlimited space, but I can store a fair bit in the studio here, and I've got some room prepared at home ready to store the books, and thankfully they're all quite nicely boxed and stuff, so it's all good. But this is being bought from a chap who is in his mid 1980s, in his mid 80s, not his mid 1980s. He's in his mid 80s age-wise, so he's collected all his life, and now's the time to move it on. And he's delighted that they're going to me, a fellow collector, so that's also really good. I'm just hoping I get to meet him when I buy the books. But these aren't proving horrifically dusty, as I was half expecting, but they're dusty enough, aren't they? So yeah, if you're looking for an A to Z about how I purchase and then process a collection, then you will be in for a treat. I shall be covering the actual road trip to buy it and first impressions and what have you over on my main channel. So if you've not already subscribed over there, please do, so you get the full context. But the majority of the cleaning and stuff will be done on this channel, and there's going to be a lot of it, as I said. So some of the other little videos potentially might be put on the back burner. I might have chance to do the final pan video for next Sunday, or Saturday rather, I should say, with a bit of luck. And after that we'll start on the collection videos then. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it's been short and sweet, but we didn't really have that much to do, did we, cleaning wise today? But that's just how it is sometimes with these books. If you have enjoyed it, do please hit the subscribe if you've not already, for regular vintage cleaning content. And I shall see you in 7 days with another video. Bye.